Dear soul, people are really talking about you, arguing back and forth about who you are and what you mean. Someone looks at you and whispers, "You're truly sent from heaven, like you're an angel walking here with us." My dear one, if you feel even a little bit that angels could be real, please listen really closely to these words. Let them sink in. Because yes, they're arguing about you. Someone else, maybe full of bitterness or just not understanding, has decided you're a mistake, a wrong step in the story. But right beside them, another person thinks of you as the absolute biggest joy, the most wonderful gift they've ever received. It's like a constant tug of war. Think about this. Someone actually said the cruel thought that you should never have been born. Yet, somewhere else, someone else is holding onto a picture of you, their hands still shaky remembering the last time you had to go, their heart aching because they miss you so much. Heaven itself has noticed all this commotion, this invisible fight raging around your existence. Every tear shed because of your name, every drop of pain connected to you has been seen. The struggles you don't see, the negative thoughts aimed at you like hidden arrows, the quiet curses spoken in dark corners, and just as much, the desperate prayers thrown up towards the night sky. They all swirl around you. You might not fully get it yet, but just by being you, you cause ripples in the unseen world. You might go through your days feeling unnoticed, like a ghost in your own life, but your name? It's written down in important places. It's spoken out loud in secret meetings filled with jealousy, deep love, old regrets, hopes for payback, and wishes for healing. And now, finally, the truth is starting to leak out. God is bringing things out into the open. They truly are fighting over you. One person calls you a curse, a source of bad luck or pain. But another sees you as the solution, the very answer to the emptiness in their own soul. Caught in the middle in your own quiet life. Maybe you felt all this chaotic energy and just thought it was rejection, thinking nobody wants you. But they are watching you, even right now as you read this. One of them is actively trying to convince others to turn away from you, to give up on you. Why? Because deep down, they are secretly terrified of the incredible strength and power you would have if you ever really stepped into your full potential, if you ever healed completely and rose up. Someone looked at your scars, your past pain, and declared you're too damaged to ever be whole or create anything beautiful. But that is a complete lie coming from their own limited way of seeing things. Meanwhile, another person gets down on their knees when night comes, praying, begging for just one more chance to be close to you, even though they never had the courage to tell you directly how much you mean to them. There might be someone in your life, maybe someone who is supposed to support you, who straight up said, "You are a disappointment." Perhaps they even told you, "You just make everything harder." But listen, in a totally different place, maybe miles away or just nearby, a young child looks at you, maybe sees you walk by, and silently prays, "I want to be strong like them when I grow up." This child doesn't even know your whole story, maybe not even your last name, but they've seen your ability to keep going. They've sensed the spark, the unshakable fire inside you. None of this is by accident. The arguments, the confusing quiet periods, the swirling feelings of doubt you've experienced lately. It's all connected. Heaven has opened the records, like unrolling an old scroll, and the time for secrets to end is here. Those people who whispered negative things about you when they thought you couldn't hear are now finding their own words and actions coming out into the light. Those who look down on you, maybe with sly looks or mean comments disguised as jokes, are about to find themselves humbled right in front of you. This isn't happening because you wished bad things on them, not because you wanted revenge. No, it's because the universe has a natural way of balancing things. The need for fairness, for divine justice, can't be held back any longer. The delay is over. They're fighting over you in ways and places you can't physically see. The very moment your name comes up in certain conversations, you can almost feel the energy shift. Hearts beat differently. People suddenly find something else very interesting to look at. Someone out there has been busy trying to get rid of the proof of how they hurt you in the past. They are frantically deleting old messages, changing their stories, hoping no one remembers. They absolutely do not want to deal with what's coming their way. They dread admitting that they twisted situations, maybe even convinced other people that you were the source of the trouble all along. But you were never, ever the problem. You were more like a mirror. Your presence, your light, your struggles forced them to see their own parts that needed healing. You unintentionally made them face the things about themselves they didn't like, their own deep fears and insecurities. And because that was uncomfortable for them, they tried to tear you down with harsh words. They tried to bury your spirit under the heavy dirt of their own shame and failures. But your roots, the core of who you are, went much deeper than they ever imagined. Even now, you are growing quietly, steadily, underneath all those times you were pushed away and betrayed. You're like a plant taking in every insult, every criticism, not as poison, but as rainwater, letting it feed the ground where your true purpose lies. And now that strong stem is finally pushing through the surface. They can't pretend you're not there anymore. You're becoming visible again, rising into view, not through frantic effort on your part, but simply because it's the right time. This is the specific moment when things hidden are meant to be revealed. Everything they tried to cover up about you, every lie they told, will soon be out there, maybe even shared from the very places they used to mock you. Someone quite close to you, maybe a friend or family member, has been seeing you very clearly in their sleep. You probably have no idea, but your name has been echoing in their dreams night after night for weeks now. They wake up suddenly, sometimes with tears on their face, remembering things they actively try to push away and forget. A deep fear is growing in them. The fear that the chance to make things right is disappearing, that they missed too many opportunities, that they chose the wrong side or waited too long to value you. And there's someone else, too. Someone who openly spoke badly about you, maybe even cursed your name in front of others, but now finds their own mind restless. They can't find peace. They convinced themselves they were right, justified in judging you. But every time they try to move on, the memory of your voice, perhaps your kindness or your pain, echoes in their quiet moments. A persistent little voice deep inside keeps whispering, you were wrong about them. You misjudged them completely. Think about your family history, your background. There might be relatives, past or present, who genuinely never wanted you to succeed, to rise above the patterns they were stuck in. You might have been born into unspoken agreements of keeping quiet, of carrying secrets that weren't yours to bear. You entered this world carrying emotional or spiritual heaviness, like debts you never agreed to take on. But the universe, heaven, saw all of it. And now, that cycle, that inherited pattern, is finally breaking. Someone within your own family circle told lies about you. They spun a story where they were the hero or the victim, and you were painted as the troublemaker, the bad one. But God, the universe, truth itself, kept the original, true version of events. And the time has now come for that truth to gently, or maybe not so gently, bubble up to the surface for everyone to see. One person might have called you a manipulator because they couldn't control you. Another dismissed you as too sensitive because your deep feelings made them uncomfortable. One might have labeled you cold and distant because you needed to protect your energy. Yet another complained you were too much, too intense, overly emotional, perhaps even strange. But none of them were there during the quiet nights you spent crying, maybe even praying for the very people who were spreading rumors about you. They didn't see the dreams you put on hold to avoid hurting someone else's feelings or ego. They didn't understand the parts of your bright self you had to dim just to keep a false sense of peace in rooms that were never designed to contain your full spirit. Right now, somewhere, someone is starting to confess. You might not hear it with your physical ears yet, but in a conversation happening far from you, your name is coming up. They are admitting it, maybe quietly at first, saying things like, I wasn't completely honest about them, or I stretched the truth because I was jealous. I just didn't want them to shine brighter than me. And someone else is overcome with tears, realizing with shock that they believed the wrong story, believed the wrong person's version of you. Now they desperately want to reconnect, to apologize, but they feel lost, unsure how to even begin closing that gap. There are definitely people watching you grow, observing your journey, all while pretending they couldn't care less. They act like you're insignificant, no big deal. But when they think no one is looking, they're searching for you online, scrolling through old photographs, trying to figure out the puzzle of you. How did you possibly survive everything that was designed, intentionally or unintentionally, to crush you? One of them was recently overheard saying to someone else, "I honestly thought they would have given up by now. I thought they'd be finished." But you weren't finished. You were perhaps in a period of quiet, of hiding. Not out of weakness, no, but because a higher power, heaven, was deliberately shielding you, protecting you while you healed, waiting patiently for the absolute perfect moment to reintroduce you. And this is that moment. You'll likely start to feel it before you see solid proof. A subtle but definite shift in the energy surrounding you. People who were once comfortable might start acting a bit nervous or awkward when they are near you. Someone from your past might make careful efforts to reconnect, maybe sending a vague message, unsure how to properly apologize or explain. A person who once betrayed you might begin showing signs of softening, their sharp edges slightly less sharp. The silence that used to feel like cold loneliness might start to feel comforting, like a protective blanket. You are fundamentally not the same person you were last year, or even last month. Even those who dislike you can sense it. They can't quite pinpoint what's different, but they know deep down that something significant is happening within you, shifting around you. Some will try to dismiss it, saying you've changed for the worse, become difficult or arrogant. But that's not the truth. You've simply changed into alignment with your truth. You stopped saying sorry for existing. You've stopped making yourself small to fit into spaces you've outgrown. And believe this, heaven, the positive forces of the universe, are cheering you on, clapping for your courage. Someone who once saw you as competition, who maybe tried to take something that was rightfully yours, an idea, a relationship, an opportunity, is about to find that very thing slipping through their own fingers. Someone else who constantly compared you unfavorably to another person will suddenly have their eyes opened and finally see your unique worth clearly. Someone who abruptly cut off contact, who ghosted you, is likely keeping tabs on you, perhaps through hidden social media profiles. Someone who openly mocked your dreams and ambitions is now finding their own paths blocked, facing their own set of closed doors. And the person who arrogantly declared, "They'll never make it without me," is now facing the stark, humbling reality of just how profoundly wrong they were. This isn't about getting even. It's about revelation. It's the universe bringing things back into balance. The truth is rising, like smoke from holy incense, reaching towards the heavens. Everything that was done in secret, hidden in the shadows, is now being dragged into the clear light of day. And absolutely no one can stop this process now. They are fighting over you. One voice insists, "They belong here with me." Another cries out, full of regret, "They were supposed to be on this journey alongside me." But heaven, the divine source, isn't really swayed by their claims or demands. Heaven is responding to the quiet, persistent rhythm of your heart, your prayers. Those private conversations you had with the universe, the hopes you barely dare to whisper aloud, the declarations you made even when your heart felt broken. None of Esarapatit was wasted. Heaven noted it all down. And now, angelic messengers, forces of positive change, have been sent out with specific tasks, assignments with your name on them. An apology is definitely on its way. Actually, likely more than one, perhaps several. Some apologies will be spoken directly, clear and unmistakable words. Others will arrive disguised as unexpected opportunities, doors swinging open that you never thought possible, sudden invitations that feel like a perfect fit. Some apologies will remain unspoken, but will be obvious in the sudden inability of certain people to meet your gaze. They won't be able to look you directly in the eye, not because they've stopped caring, perhaps, but because they're drowning in their own feelings of shame and unworthiness in your presence. And know this too, someone you were convinced had completely forgotten about you is carrying your name around with them constantly, like a burning coal in their soul. They feel your absence keenly and are actively searching for a way to find their way back to you, if you'd even have them. You are not forgotten. You are absolutely not cursed, no matter what anyone said. You are deeply wanted, profoundly valued. You are the secret weapon, the hidden gem, kept safe by heaven for exactly this moment in time. Someone once dared to label you cursed, but they spoke from a place of fear. Fear of what your light would expose in them. Fear of what your success might cost their ego. Your very existence made them look at themselves, and they didn't like what they saw. You forced them to make choices, and now they are simply living with the natural consequences of the seeds they planted. You are being lifted up, elevated, not solely by your own efforts or strength, but by the gentle, powerful hand of heaven. People looking on from the outside will inevitably ask, how do they manage that? How do they get here after everything? And the simple, profound answer will be grace, favor, divine protection. The very same people who once dismissed you as too much, too loud, too sensitive, too different, will now be whispering that you're miraculous, touched by something special. The same ones who wrote you off as a nobody will soon be asking carefully how they can contribute to your dreams, how they can support your journey. But listen very carefully now. Be wise. Don't automatically swing the door wide open for everyone who comes knocking again. Some aren't genuinely sorry for their actions. They're just afraid. Afraid of being excluded from your rising success. Afraid of being left behind in the dust. Afraid of finally having to face the truth of what they did. Afraid that your elevation will shine an uncomfortable spotlight on their own less than noble intentions. So, let your intuition, your inner knowing, that sense of knowing right from wrong, be your trusted guide. Let the feeling of peace, or lack thereof, be your compass. Understand and accept that not every person trying to return deserves re-entry into your inner circle. You have weathered far too much, survived too many storms, to lose your balance now by letting instability back in. Stay grounded in who you are now. Stay thankful for the blessings, big and small. Stay alert and ready, because the doors that are creaking open for you now are not insignificant little side doors. These are major gateways, doors that have the potential to change family legacies, heal wounds passed down through generations. Doors that can shift the energy of entire communities. Doors that lead to pathways that rewrite destinies. Your name has already been spoken with respect in places you haven't even physically entered yet. Your voice, once silenced or ignored, will soon be heard and valued in rooms that previously echoed with laughter at your expense. Your story, the true one, will be told and retold in places where you were once conveniently forgotten. And someone, somewhere, who once carelessly said you were easily replaceable, is now having the stark realization that there is truly no one else like you. They are fighting over you, still arguing, still debating your worth. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what they say anymore, because the only voice with true authority, the voice of the divine, of love itself, has already declared loud and clear, you are chosen. You are deeply loved. You are undeniably rising. There is someone, even as you read these words, pacing back and forth in a room somewhere. They are mentally rehearsing the words they never had the courage or humility to say to you directly. The apologies they owe, the confession stuck in their throat, the truth they kept buried for far too long under layers of pride and crippling fear. But for some of them, honestly, it's simply too late. Because while they were busy staying silent, clinging to their pride, you were undergoing a profound transformation. While they kept their distance, nursing their justifications, you were being renewed from the inside out. What they might unconsciously want now is the old version of you, the one who maybe pleaded for acceptance, the one who still craved their validation, the one who perhaps begged silently to be chosen by them. But that version of you, that version no longer exists. That part has served its purpose and has gently passed away. And standing in its place is someone centered, someone sacred in their own right, someone they can no longer easily manipulate with guilt trips or mind games. Someone they can no longer define through whispered gossip or outright denial. One of them might still be desperately trying to control how others see you. They might be talking to someone new in your life right now, subtly trying to plant seeds of doubt, whispering warnings, hoping to poison the fertile ground of this new connection before anything positive can take root. But here's the beautiful truth. Even their toxic words are losing their power now. They seem to just fall flat, lacking the sting they once had. Heaven, the universe, has placed an invisible but powerful shield around you, a boundary that their negativity and curses simply cannot penetrate anymore. You might still feel the residual effects, though. You might sense that underlying tension in the air when your name is brought up in certain circles. That's the energetic echo of the spiritual battles that have been waged over you because you matter. Not because you are weak or flawed, but precisely because you are rare, because your authentic spirit is potent. Not because you failed in some way, but because your purpose, your potential, inherently intimidates those who are unwilling or unable to face their own inner shadows. It might hurt deeply, but perhaps someone who used to share spiritual moments with you, maybe even prayed alongside you, now speaks against you behind your back. But resist the urge to fight back on their level. Don't exhaust yourself trying to explain or defend yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Heaven is already taking action, accomplishing what your mere words never could. Doors are firmly slamming shut on those who treated your pain lightly or mocked your struggles. Invisible mirrors are being held up, forcing those who laughed when you were crying to finally see their own reflections. And someone who once comfortably stood in a group of people gossiping about you is now quietly stepping away from that circle. They just can't participate anymore. The pretense is becoming too heavy. They're tired of acting like the negativity they contributed to was harmless fun. They've been having unsettling dreams, maybe waking up in a cold sweat, seeing your face clearly in their mind's eye, or hearing the echo of your voice during quiet moments, prompting waves of guilt or regret. You never needed to scream to be heard by what truly matters. You never had to engage in the same messy battles they waged against you. Your strength was found in your ability to stay centered, to remain still amidst the chaos, to hold onto your integrity. Heaven was watching intently the entire time. The angels, the keepers of universal records, documented every single moment, every betrayal, every calculated lie, every conversation held behind closed doors that impacted your life, every decision made without your knowledge or consent. God, the source of all, did not forget a single detail. And now, the period of exposure, of truth coming to light, has officially commenced. Someone once looked you in the eye, or maybe said behind your back, "You don't deserve love." But understand that their words were dripping with the poison of their own jealousy and lack. Another might have claimed, "You were impossible to be around." But what they often really meant was, "You were impossible for me to control." You see, the truth is, you are not inherently difficult. You are simply deep. And people who prefer to skim the shallow surfaces of life often feel like they're drowning when faced with authentic depth. They fear what they cannot easily categorize or explain. They often resent or try to diminish what they cannot dominate or own. Someone walked away from you, perhaps justifying it by saying you were too emotional. But those very emotions, that capacity for deep feeling, are precisely why heaven pays attention when you speak, when you pray, when you express your heart's truth. Someone else might have distanced themselves, labeling you too intense. But that very intensity, that passionate fire within you, is likely what fueled your resilience and kept you going through your darkest, most challenging nights. Please, don't ever dull your vibrant spark to make people comfortable who prefer a bland, counterfeit version of peace. Don't you dare apologize for the sacred fire that heaven itself placed within your soul. That fire isn't just for putting on a show. It's for survival, for navigating the battles of life. It's the very thing that keeps you standing when others around you might crumble. They are fighting over you. It's still happening. Some desperately want your forgiveness, maybe to ease their own conscience. Others secretly wish for your silence, hoping you won't expose the truth. Some genuinely long for your return, missing your presence in their lives. And yes, others might still wish for your complete disappearance, hoping you'd just fade away. But above all this human drama, Heaven has a different agenda. Heaven wants your complete healing. God, the universe, never intended for you to carry the crushing weight of all this pain entirely alone. Maybe the people who were supposed to be your protectors let you down, abandoned you when you needed them most. Perhaps the ones who were meant to love you unconditionally chose their own pride, their own ego, instead. And yet, through all of that, somehow, you did not allow bitterness to take root and consume your heart completely. Somehow, you kept waiting, kept hoping, kept believing in something better, even if just by a thread. Even when your heart felt like it was shattered into a million pieces, you managed to whisper quiet prayers for strength or guidance, instead of spewing curses back at those who hurt you. And now, the reward for that incredible endurance, that quiet strength, is being prepared and released to you. The person who tried to mimic your energy, perhaps copy your style or your spirit, is now being seen for who they truly are underneath the facade. Maybe they borrowed your words, imitated your tone of voice, even tried to replicate your way of loving others, but they couldn't replicate your journey. They couldn't carry the weight of the challenges you faced, the crosses you bore. They attempted to achieve the you outcome without going through the you process, without surviving what you had to survive. And now, the mask is slipping. The truth is leaking out around the edges. Those onlookers who once compared you unfavorably to this person are now slowly realizing there's simply no real comparison to be made. Your heart was genuine. Your love, though perhaps imperfect, was pure in its intention. Your mistakes were human, born of struggle, but your underlying intentions were consistently sincere. You were being cleared, proven right, without having to lift a finger or speak a word in your own defense. Heaven itself is your ultimate witness, and the very individuals who once sat comfortably in judgment over your life will now find themselves sitting in a telling, uncomfortable silence. There's likely someone who still carries a sense of ownership over a piece of you. They're clinging tightly to an outdated version of who you used to be, maybe someone more pliable or less confident. But when they inevitably encounter you again, perhaps soon, they will be startled. They'll realize with a jolt that they barely recognize the person standing before them. You have fundamentally changed. You have grown, expanded, evolved. You have decisively outgrown the small, confining cage they try to keep you in mentally or emotionally. The lies they once told about you no longer seem to stick. They slide right off your strengthened sense of self. The guilt they tried so hard to burden you with has been miraculously lifted from your shoulders. And the shame they desperately wanted you to wear like a heavy cloak has been transformed, turned into a quiet, radiant glory. You're not defined by their memories of you. You are not the two-dimensional character they cast you as in their skewed version of the story. You, my dear one, are the living testimony. You're the undeniable proof that it's possible to make it out even when all the odds seem stacked against you. You are the one who heard the cruel whispers, felt the sting of deep betrayals, weathered terrifying storms, and somehow, miraculously, still found the strength to stand. You are the one who never completely stopped praying, never fully extinguished hope, and kept finding ways to rise again, even after being knocked down repeatedly. And now, the significant shift you've been sensing has truly begun. People who never genuinely celebrated your successes are being gently but firmly moved out of your path. People who offered fake support while harboring hidden motives are finding their true intentions exposed. The person who confidently declared you'd never find peace or happiness without them is now finding themselves unexpectedly drowning in their own internal chaos. The one who cruelly predicted you would never be loved again is now experiencing a profound sense of loneliness. This isn't happening because you wish them harm. It's simply the natural consequence of universal law. God, the universe, simply won't allow deceit and negativity to flourish during the season specifically designated for your rising. Someone is about to witness you being honored publicly. It might be a small recognition or something significant, but they will have to watch you step confidently into the very space, the very role they confidently predicted you would never ever reach. And someone else is observing your journey from a distance, shrouded in silence, consumed by the question, would they even speak to me if I try to come back now? They are filled with fear. Fear that they waited too long to appreciate you. Fear that you have healed and moved on without needing them. Let them wonder. Let them sit with their choices. You are not revisiting what broke you. You are not returning to the environments where you were merely tolerated but never truly celebrated for who you are. You are stepping forward decisively into a brand new season drenched in divine favor and alignment. New names, people you haven't even met yet, will speak your name with genuine respect and honor. New hands, stronger and more supportive, will gladly help carry the burdens that others carelessly dropped. New voices will confidently declare the truths about your character that others denied or twisted. And your continued quiet strength, your dignified silence, will continue to speak volumes, echoing louder and more powerfully than any flimsy rumor ever could. Someone probably called you crazy at some point, maybe scoffed that you dream too big, that your hopes are unrealistic. But they don't understand that your dreams often originate from a deeper, more intuitive realm, a place they've likely never accessed themselves. Someone else might have criticized you for not being realistic enough, but what they usually meant was that you don't easily conform to their expectations. You don't shrink yourself down to make them feel comfortable. You don't automatically bow to pressure or opinions you don't resonate with. And heaven, the source of authentic strength, absolutely loves that resilient, non-conforming spirit within you. You are rare. Understand this. That's precisely why the spiritual and emotional war around you felt so intense, so heavy. That's why the betrayals cut so deeply. That's why the periods of confusion felt so thick and disorienting. The forces of negativity, of darkness, desperately tried to extinguish the unique light that heaven had carefully planted within you. But it's simply too late for them now. You are blooming, regardless of their efforts. The light is finding you, illuminating your path forward. And the very people who once completely overlooked you, dismissed you as unimportant, will soon be the ones quietly asking others how they can learn from you, how they can follow your inspiring path. Again, remember, this is not about revenge. This is revelation. What was hidden is now being brought into the open. What felt broken beyond repair is undergoing a miraculous process of restoration. And what was unfairly taken from you, perhaps peace, reputation, opportunities, is being returned, often multiplied, maybe even 7 times over. There is a specific door just ahead that is opening exclusively for you. You've never seen this particular door before. You've never walked this specific path, so it might feel unfamiliar. But you will recognize that it's yours by the unmistakable feeling of deep peace that surrounds it. The people you encounter beyond this door won't be competing with you. They will genuinely honor your gifts and presence. The opportunities connected to this new phase won't drain your energy. They will nourish and bless you abundantly. And when you gather your courage and step through that doorway, you will finally understand, with crystal clarity, why the waiting period was so necessary. You'll see why the times of separation were actually divine protection in disguise. You'll grasp why the silence you endured was sacred, a time of inner preparation. They are fighting over you, yes, but that fight, it's not actually yours to engage in anymore. The outcome of that battle has already been decided in the unseen realms. And the victory, the ultimate triumph, belongs to the one who refused to give up on themselves. The one who managed to stay kind, even when faced with harsh misjudgment. The one who kept showing up, putting one foot in front of the other, even after being painfully betrayed. The one who cried heartbreaking tears in private, but still managed to face the world with a gentle smile. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned or forsaken. You are the incredible story that heaven is actively writing right now. And when they tell your story in the future, they simply won't be able to leave out the undeniable element of the miraculous. Amen.